Hi, Kathy Pecora with Atlanta Area Property Management. So how do we advertise your property? Well, besides doing maximum exposure, we always want to make sure that we're putting your best foot forward right from the start. So that means that your home needs to be rent ready. And what does rent ready mean? Basically, what you see is what you get when a tenant walks in to take a look at the home. Now, what we have to do is not only have a lot of exposure, which we'll talk about in a minute, but we want to make sure that the photos look great. So if you're doing your own photographs, your own advertising, here's a couple of tips that we advise. First of all, make sure that you're using a high resolution camera. Your phone is fine as long as it is high resolution. We also recommend that you do them this way, horizontally. Do not take pictures this direction and then expect them to look good on the internet. They're just not. They're going to look narrow and you're not going to be able to see anything in the room. So make sure that you're taking pictures this way. And if you have a phone that has wide angle, use the wide angle. Make sure that before you take a single photograph that you go ahead and you go into the home, you turn all the lights on. Make sure all the lights are on. Then go back outside and take your first photo. What that will do is it will lighten up the rooms that you see on the outside, the windows, like the living room, the dining room, when you see the front, even the porch lights. So you want those porch lights on because it just kind of dresses up the home and just makes it look kind of homey. So make sure all the lights are on before you take a single photograph. Okay. Now we suggest that when you're taking the photos that you take photos from one corner and then the opposite corner. Take more of the kitchen and the living areas. Don't really need a lot in the bathrooms, just a couple pictures. And besides, you usually have the mirror that you have to contend with. You don't actually want to see your photo in the mirror. The next couple of quickie things is when you're taking photos, make sure that the toilet seat is down. If you are still living in the home, clear the clutter. Get rid of all the dog dishes, the knickknacks, the toys. Make sure the place looks like a model home. If you can't do that, then just wait until you move out to take the photos because you have to put your best foot forward. The condition of your home is going to attract the same type of tenant. So when you're taking your photos, make sure that they are show ready and that what a tenant sees is what a tenant is going to get. Now, in terms of marketing, we do a lot of internet marketing because that's really where everybody starts. So we do the multiple listing service, Zillow, homes.com, apartments.com. Those are our main ones. And we actually have fee services on there, which means we're paying for those services. So we get placed a little bit higher. Now, if you're doing your own advertising, then you're probably using the free services. So you probably wonder why when you're looking down the list, you see all these other places listed above yours, and it's because they're paying for those services. We also use a listing service and a listing management software called Show Mojo, and there's plenty of those out there, but when we pay them, they are also syndicating to a lot of other websites as well. So not only do we have ours, we have theirs. And then we use Facebook, we use our own property management software that syndicates, and we also use the Google business pages. Now, once in a while we will use Craigslist, but not very often because it's so fraudulent. What happens on Craigslist is somebody will come in and they will steal your photos, and then they will re-advertise that for a lower price. Well, on most of the other websites, you can't do that. If the property is already advertised, it won't let you advertise it again. Craigslist, you don't really have that limitation. So a lot of fraud happens on Craigslist. So we use it every once in a while, but not very often. Now, all of these sites that we use and all these services that we use will syndicate to other websites. So in a couple of weeks, you'll find that your home is listed on hundreds and hundreds of websites. Now, what happens is after a few weeks, they've syndicated all over. You could actually just go to Google, type in your address, and it'll list all the websites that your home is advertised on. And it's because all this syndication has happened. If you have a Section 8 property, we also advertise on affordable housing and Georgia Housing Search. Those are two of the main housing websites that we use. We will also attend housing fairs if the local place has them. Sometimes they do Zoom services, so we'll do a Zoom with them. And then the last thing we'll do with the Section 8 is we will send flyers to the actual housing authorities. That way the caseworkers have them in their hands. What happens is, since in Georgia you don't have to have a property available to a housing voucher holder. It's the owner's option. But if you are making it available, then a housing voucher holder has to get online and they're searching for these homes trying to find out, do you accept housing vouchers? Well, they will be going through hundreds and hundreds. It's almost an impossible search. Zillow, for example, will not let you actually advertise that in the headline because they consider that discriminatory against like income. So you really have to bury it into the description. And so it's hard for a housing voucher to find it. So instead, if we give the housing or the caseworkers, housing authorities, a listing of your property, then when they have a person that's looking for, a 2-bedroom home, they're like, they're flipping through their flyers. Oh yeah, here's one. And it just makes it easy for your housing voucher holder to find your home. So that's how we advertise your property. If you have any questions, please give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about it.